Hey, everybody. This is Trending Topics Thursday. I'm glad to see y'all on in the building. I'm like, what's on my shirt? Anyway, I'm glad to see y'all in the building. How y'all doing? Happy Thursday. Yes, we're here for Trending Topics Thursday, okay? Russell Simmons came out. Let me back up a little bit. The Trending Topics today is destroyed by allegations. Destroyed by allegations. Y'all want to do street justice. Y'all like street justice. Y'all say, in some cases, y'all be like, innocent until proven guilty, depending on the topic. Because a lot of topics, y'all hit the gavel and say guilty. We ain't see no evidence. Nobody went to court. Y'all be like, guilty. That's it. Believe the victims. Believe this one. So-and-so is guilty. And we're done. Lock them up. Lynch them. Take them down. Russell Simmons said that happened to him. He said he took lie detector tests. And he said he passed them all. Now, I don't know who administered the test. May Maury Povich rest in peace. Was it Maury? I don't know who administered the test. But he said he's innocent. And he took all these texts and he said it destroyed his life. All his foundations went in the toilet. All his money in the toilet. His livelihood, his reputation, everything in the toilet. Because of street justice. The allegations destroyed him. Okay? Then we're going to talk about Diddy. This Diddy thing won't go away. We're going to talk about Diddy. So now one of Cassie's friends, she want to come out and say, I'm collaborating on Cassie's story. Girl, do me a favor. Go sit down somewhere. We don't need another collaboration of Cassie's story because we already believe Cassie. Now, he got some other victims out there that are not brave enough to speak. Come say you believe their story and call them Jane Doe or John Doe. I'm just saying. No, Maury Povich, is he still here? I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't mean that. Okay, forgive me. Thank you for that. Help me out. Child, take that back. I don't know why I thought Maury was gone. Maury Povich is gone, though. He is gone. Don't be messing me up, girl. You got me feeling bad. He did die. Because they said, who going to do the paternity test now? Right? So now this girl coming out, she's saying, brother love, I watched him. He did it. I went and spent the night over the house to make sure nothing happened. You went and spent the night to make sure nothing happened, and something still happened to Cassie. Girl, go somewhere and sit down. Have several seats. You went there for nothing. And now you telling your story talking about you traumatized. We're not giving you a check, girlfriend. We got to save this money for the real victims. And that's Diva talking. Oh, he's not. I'm so sorry. All right. Okay, Robin, I'm sorry. I messed up. All right. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, come on now, Amy. Have several seats. I went there. I tried to help her twice. Okay. Yeah, Jerry. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all got, okay, y'all. Thank you for it. Come on now. Pull my coattails. Okay. Have several seats, girl. I'm traumatized. You traumatized because you saw something and didn't do nothing, and now you traumatized? We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about her story. Then we got Jonathan Majors. He's in the fight of his life over there in the New York City courts. And Megan by his side. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she by his side. Megan by his side. He out there fighting for his life. And the ex-girlfriend in the courts backtracking, talking about it wasn't me. I was partying away my pain. All kind of other stuff. All right, y'all. I know. I'm sorry. Maury is still alive. He just retired. Well, he better come out of retirement and do this a lie detector test for Russell Simmons, because he said y'all destroyed his life with these allegations. Okay, so we're going to talk about those three people destroyed by allegations. Now listen, as we have this conversation, we already know about all the sensational stuff with Diddy, with Russell. I want us to take it up a notch and take the conversation. Okay. Google said Maury passed. See, come on. I don't know. Help me out, Chanel. They got me messed up over here. I don't know what's right now more. Okay. But anyway, listen. So, we're going to take this conversation up a notch. Only because we know about all the sensational stuff. We do. And what I want to do is we got to start talking about some prevention. Yeah, we do. We got to start talking about some prevention, right? Because let's be clear. If I meet a guy, this is the latest, one of the latest Diddy stories, right? I meet a guy. The day I meet him, he does something to me that I didn't want to happen. Why do I continue to proceed with said guy? We got to talk about it. We do, y'all. We do. Because see, let me tell you what's hard. It's hard to help a victim recover. It may be a little bit easier for us to tell people how to prevent getting themselves in these particular situations and what they could perhaps do if they find themselves in this particular situation. All right. And I got the message, y'all. Maury is alive and kicking. Maury, forgive me. Okay, let me see here. Maury Povich, okay? I'm sorry, y'all. But y'all know what I need in that chat. See, y'all ready to destroy me by my allegations. Okay. All right, let me see. He's alive. He's just retired, okay? I got to get a little confused, okay? He is indeed still alive, y'all. Hold on one second. Let me do an update right here real quick. Don't y'all come for me. I made a mistake. I forgot. He just retired, okay? Maury Povich is indeed still alive. All right, so Maury is good. All right, y'all? All right, listen. Y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? Oh, come on now. Accountability is key. Gotta be accountable. Come on, y'all. What do I need in the chat? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. We're about to board this train to bring the people back on the platform here because we got stuff to talk about tonight, okay? Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Leo.
Hey, girl. I am here to examine the evidence.
Oh, shoot.
Let's examine the evidence.
Oh, my.
Okay. And we will have our conversation. Choo-choo!
Woo! Honey, hey, in my opinion. Felicia, E, Royale, what's up, boo?
Hey, Diva, choo-choo.
Come on now. We got the people in the building, and we're about to have a conversation. Now, before we get into these conversations, let me say this. Holla out there if you got a brother. Hey, Dustin. Holla out there if you got a brother, you got a father, you got an uncle, you got a husband.
Or you are a male yourself.
Oh, shoot now. Come on, Roya. That's why you back in the building.
I roll here.
You better talk to the people.
Oh, I'm gonna ask.
No, not right. Give me 1 second, Dustin. 1 second, please. Okay. So holla out there if you are a man. Okay. So I understand y'all. Don't be coming for me, y'all. Don't be coming for me, because I will wholeheartedly sympathize, empathize with victims. Yes, I do. And victims need to be heard. And their story needs to be told. Mm-hmm. And they need justice.
Yes, they do.
But I want to ask you, if the po-po come knocking on your door, looking for your brother, your uncle, your husband, and they say 20 years ago or 10 years ago, yesterday, your male family member did XYZ. I just want to ask you, are you going to do street justice? Okay? Come on now. You going to do street justice? Are you?
He's right here, officer. He's
okay.
right here.
Okay. Are you going to say, just take him and lock him up? Are you going to have some feelings for your brother, your uncle, your cousin?
Lock them up.
Yourself and you are
a male. It depends.
Hold on 1 second, guys. And if it is you yourself and you are a male, and they come knocking on your door, saying, "Hey, we need to take you in, because your neighbor across the way said, ba ba ba." You just gonna turn around and say, "Clink me up? I don't need no lawyer." Believe her? I'm just checking. We're gonna have a conversation tonight. Are y'all ready for the conversation? I need y'all to buckle your seatbelts. I need you to catch this train.
We're ready as we can ever be.
Yeah. I need you to catch this train tonight and don't catch feelings. I need you to stand your ground. I need you to say what you got to say. I need you to think about what you got to say. Because I know how we feeling right now. The streets are emotional. And why? Because of this darn brother love, because of Diddy. But let me tell y'all this. There's others like them. We heard about R. Kelly for years. A lot of them girls was coming up for years. They was called liars. I told y'all the other day. We gonna talk now. I told y'all the other day. The Lizzo girls was called liars. What happened to that story? It's under a rug somewhere. The Lizzo girls were called liars. What are we doing here? Who do we believe versus not believe? Let me just show you a story. And then the first story we're going to get into after that is Russell Simmons. But I got something to show y'all. Y'all got to hang in there, because I really need y'all to see this whole story, okay? Matter of fact, should I show you the short version first? I'm going to show you a piece of this version. Hold on 1 second.
years old. Take a look. Football star Brian Banks dominated the field as a high school linebacker and had accepted verbally a full scholarship to USC. But then the unthinkable happened when he was accused and convicted of raping a classmate.
I was a 16-year-old boy taken away from my mom, my freedom, my football team, my family. July 25th was the first day that I stepped foot in Chino State Prison. That's how I spent my 18th birthday.
Although Brian always maintained his innocence, he says his lawyer advised him to take a plea deal. Brian spent 5 years in prison and another 5 years as a registered sex offender. When his accuser tried to reconnect on Facebook nearly a decade later, she confessed to Brian and his legal team that she had lied.
Did he rape you? No, he did not rape you. Did he kidnap you? No.
Please welcome Brian Banks. This story makes my heart ache.
Yeah.
It makes my heart ache.
Yeah, still hurts mine too.
You served 5 years in prison for a crime you did not commit.
Yeah.
And the future was so bright for you when she made that false allegation.
Yeah.
When she contacted you after you'd served your time, you'd already gotten out. When she contacted you, what do you think she wanted?
You know, that's still something that I can't really put a finger on. I know that when she initially reached out, her words were she was hoping that we could allow bygones to be bygones, that she was very immature at the time that she made these allegations, but could assure me she was much more mature now, wanted to hang out, wanted to try and rekindle something that never really existed. It was as if she was oblivious to what had actually happened and what her lies caused in my life.
Back when you were in high school, you had a consensual sexual encounter with this woman in a stairwell, which she later said was rape.
Right.
Then not only did she accuse you criminally, but her mother and she sued the school and won a $1.5 million judgment.
It was a settlement. The school district made many attempts to contact my attorney to join in the fight to prove my innocence, and they were unsuccessful at that. And that led them to having to settle for a $1.5 million settlement.
Do you think, I know you can't get into her head, but do you think the whole thing was a scam for money?
I don't think that originally it was a scam for money. I think that right after my arrest, her mother saw an opportunity to turn this into a money situation.
You're sitting in prison. You took the plea deal because your lawyer said you're facing 40 years in prison.
Yeah.
I can get you around 5. The lawyer didn't do enough in your view.
Not only did she say she could get me to a deal of 5 years, it was a deal for probation. That was the initial deal that I was proposed, that I promise you, if you take this deal, you will get probation. At the most, you'll get about 3 years. You've already served a year. You'll do about 18 more months. You'll still be young. You can get out and play football. But if you don't take this deal and you walk into that courtroom, you're probably going to have an all-white jury. You're a big black teenager. They're going to automatically assume you're guilty based off of your looks, and you will get the 41 years to life in prison. So I was pretty much at the age of 17, placed in a room, and to this day, I'm 32 years old. I have never made a decision harder in my life. Do I walk into this courtroom and take a deal for a crime that I didn't commit? Or do I walk into this courtroom and risk my entire life in prison for a crime I didn't commit? I realized after a year of fighting this case, I wasn't going home.
You had to be careful. It's a bet you couldn't afford to lose. When you were sitting, you know, an innocent man sitting in prison knowing he didn't do it, and you went to prison on your 18th birthday, on his 18th birthday. Describe that for us, the feelings you had there.
Helpless, fear, every negative emotion you can think of, all the way down to anger and revenge and wanting people to be held accountable for what had happened to me. Paranoia, not knowing who really to trust, and not knowing where my life was going to be going. Now that I'm 18 years old and I'm headed to prison for a 6-year sentence, it felt like the end of the world for a very, very long time.
When we come back, we're going to hear about the apology Brian wanted and whether or not he ever got it.
My only dream in the world was to just be free and to have the same opportunity as everybody here.
That was my guest, Brian Banks, at 27 years old, celebrating his freedom and his exoneration of rape charges that landed him in prison for over 5 years. When he was just 16, Brian was wrongfully accused of raping a classmate in the stairwell of their high school, a crime he did not commit. He spent 5 years in prison, 5 years on parole as a registered sex offender, and he is back with us now. He's joined by Justin Brooks, the director of the California Innocence Project, who helped to exonerate Brian. Thank you both so much. The critical moment was her contacting you, coming to see you at work to talk about the fact that she had lied. You actually weren't at work. You were at an office you set up with cameras because you were getting smart about what was going to be needed to clear your name. And how did you get her to say on camera that it wasn't true?
I knew that it was imperative that she came forward. The only way that the California Innocence Project was able to help me in my case was if the witness in my case came forward and recanted. The only witness was her.
Because there was no DNA, there was never anything to really support this charge.
There was no
other than her words.
There had been no DNA to start with. So it's very hard to unring the bell when there's been a criminal conviction. In Brian's case, there was no evidence except for her word.
Which was conflicting even back then. There were conflicting stories.
There should have been DNA. It wasn't a late report case. wasn't like someone coming to the police a week later and saying they were raped. It was the same day. So rape kit was done and there was no DNA.
So she agrees to speak to a man you identified as a private investigator and just comes right out with it.
Yeah.
Did your jaw hit the floor?
My jaw hit the floor the moment she made contact on Facebook. She was very adamant about wanting to hang out as if nothing had ever happened. And so I said, well, if you want to hang out, how about you come meet me at my job during my lunch break and we can talk, which really was a private investigation firm. I had contacted a PI and told him, you know, I need this girl to come forward and admit what she lied about. And this could risk me going back to prison by coming in contact with her. So at least let me have everything recorded so that if something goes wrong on my end, I can protect myself that way.
He'd been walking around with an ankle bracelet. I mean, he was in prison behind bars and then he was in prison in his home, right? I mean,
I actually brought it with me.
Look at that thing.
I keep it on my desk ever since the day I cut it off his leg. And this is the reason why I took on Brian's case. The California Innocence Project is a law school clinic at California Western School of Law in San Diego. And we actually only take on cases where people are incarcerated because California has more incarcerated people than anywhere in the United States. Brian is the only client I've ever taken on who wasn't actually in prison. And it was when he showed me this on his ankle and said, I will be in prison the rest of my life. I'll be a convicted sex offender. I won't be able to get work. I won't be able to live where I want to live. And it was just such a compelling story that we took it on.
Because not only did you lose your freedom and the emotional state you had of hope and optimism going into your aspiring NFL career, but you lost that career. I mean, who knows how much money you could have made, what your life would have looked like. You did, however, have somewhat of a happy ending on that front. Can you tell us what you did?
So after, she came forward and the California Innocence Project helped me regain my freedom, get my life back, I made a plea to the press that I'd been training for a shot at the NFL. And there was a team that wanted to give me a shot to call me. And right away, Pete Carroll from the Seattle Seahawks gave me a call, followed by a number of other coaches. I went on tryout for a number of NFL teams before signing with the Atlanta Falcons.
It's unbelievable. And the amount of grit that it must have taken for you to come back. I will say the lawyer who encouraged him to take that plea deal, ever apologize?
No, haven't had any contact since.
Think of that.
But it's not just about that lawyer and this plea.
No, it's about much more than that.
Exactly.
And that's what they're doing here today, is to explain how they're using this experience to help others. That's after the break. Brian Banks was a high school football star when he was wrongfully convicted of raping a classmate. He spent 5 years in prison, another 5 as a registered sex offender before being exonerated with the help of the California Innocence Project. He is joined by Justin Brooks, who's the director of that project, and Brian's now teaming up with former prosecutor Lonnie Coombs. Yes. I knew I was going to screw it up, Lonnie. Coombs, to examine potential wrongful convictions of those behind bars. It's a series on Oxygen, our sister network, and it is called Final Appeal. Welcome back to you all, Lonnie. Thank you for being here as well. You're a former prosecutor.
Yes.
Working with the Innocence Project.
Yes.
To do what? What is your goal with this?
This show, Final Appeal, was an extraordinary opportunity and experience for Brian and I, because we took 4 cases, 4 people who have been convicted of killing someone and have been in prison for years, up to 30 years sometimes, always maintaining that they were wrongfully convicted and been fighting for their freedom.
But wait, everybody in prison maintains they were wrongfully convicted. So how did you figure out which ones were worth spotlighting?
So we looked at a lot of cases. We had a lot of people going through them and deciding these are worth looking at. And they were all pending a hearing or some type of review. So there was some urgency to it. Like there could have been a decision made. They could have had this opportunity of freedom. So what we were doing when we were looking at it and investigating it, we actually had the opportunity to perhaps impact that in a way that could really help them or not. We went in with an open mind. We didn't take sides. We looked at all of the evidence that had been presented, the case against them, the trial, everything they had done since their conviction. And then we went and hit the ground and looked at everything that we could do today. We talked to people, we went to the crime scene, we redid investigations to see what we could uncover.
The thing is, it's not easy to get something like this overturned or to get a man exonerated, even when you have a woman on camera, Justin. You said even once you had this accuser on camera, it wasn't like, okay, it's done, he's innocent.
Yeah, we always have the problem of what evidence can we present in a courtroom. So there's all the stuff we know in the real world, but will it pass all the tests we need to get it in? And there were problems with the video in that a judge could have ruled that it's inadmissible. And then by the time we got to the hearing, the young lady had recanted her recantation when she realized she was going to have to pay the money back that she got from the county. So fortunately, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office joined us in a joint investigation in the case. They became convinced that Brian was innocent, and they walked into court and said the words I never hear and dream of, which are, "We concede."
Wow. You have a life motto.
Yes.
And it's, if you can maintain it after all you
Yeah.
have been through, maybe it'll help some of our viewers. Tell us what it is.
Yeah. Simply the power of choice. It's not what you go through, but how you allow it to affect you and what you choose to do moving forward. There was a period of my life where I felt, like I said, I had every negative emotion you could think of. And one day I had this epiphany that I'm not in control over the things that are taking place in my life, but I am in control of me while going through these unwanted situations. And so that was the way that I made my way out of hell, was to know that I wanted more for me than anybody else wanted. And I knew my truth. I was going to stick to it. And it was all the power of choice, how I chose to look at things, how I chose to respond, what I chose to do moving forward. And it has me here today working with Lonnie Coombs on Final Appeal and helping people who can't help themselves.
I am in control of me. If nothing else around me, I am in control of me. Good for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best.
All right. So listen, I know so many people are like, Diva, stop. We got it. Heard enough. I thought it was very important to show this story, but I love his ending. I'm in control of me and my choices and the way I respond to what happened to me. I get it. I see Sandy. I see you're very connected, and I understand your connection. And Sandy's like, okay, Diva, but show me some videos about all the ladies, all the females who don't come forward, right? And why they don't come forward. Well, here's the thing. Yes, that is another piece of the story. But can I tell you who also doesn't come forward? Probably equally or more than the ladies that this happened to? The men. The men. At an alarming rate, this whole situation is an epidemic that is silent and unspoken about. And what I don't want to do is throw all of my emotions and have a conversation about how dreadful it is or how dreadful the individual that committed the situation is, right? What I want to move in the direction of is, how do we begin? And listen, I already know nothing is at all. Nothing, I could be doing everything right and something still can happen to me. I know that. I get that. But there are some situations that we get ourselves into or we find ourselves in, and we get an alarm or a red flag, and we instead of running, we question ourselves. You got to learn how to trust yourself. And I have to say this. I'm not by any means defending No Diddy. He's a monster. But what I wanted to introduce into this conversation is that there are some people who unfortunately do not tell the truth. And there are men out there whose lives are destroyed because the truth is not told. So my thing here is not on who's telling the truth versus who's not telling the truth, because at the end of the day, I was not there. But what I want my conversation to lean in the direction of, hear everybody, but apply the law accordingly and investigate. If Diva walks into the jail tomorrow or go and gets a lawyer and says that this man, XYZ, did something to her, do your due diligence. Send me to the doctor or ask me, did I go to the doctor? Is there a kit? Collect the evidence. Believe me, but investigate. What if I'm just mad at this man because he dumped me? Now his whole life should be destroyed? We're going to talk about it. Now, let me get into this first story, which is the Russell Simmons. Okay. So Russell Simmons speaks out about our allegations. He said, I've never been violent. Def Jam co-founder Russell Simmons is speaking out about multiple R allegations made against him years ago, and he's continuing to deny the SA on anyone. The music mogul opened up about the claims against him on Wednesday's episode of In Depth with Graham, a podcaster there. I'm saying, I've never been violent to anybody, adding all relationships have been consensual. He owns up to being insensitive and using cruel language during sexual encounters over the years, but shoots down the notion that he's been forceful with any past partners. Further, he complains he suffered greatly due to the allegations, saying all 5 of my charities have gone down. However, he applauds the Me Too movement, which fueled the heat on Simmons in 2017 by saying, it's done a lot of great work for women. It's sensitized men in ways they were not sensitized, and I'm grateful for that. Okay. Simmons stopped short of flat calling out his accusers liars, and instead suggests that it is more about changing times and attitudes towards sex. He said he has thousands of sexual partners over the years, but think it's not fair to compare the climate of today to how it was 40 years ago. As we reported, multiple women came forward claiming Russell SA'd them over the years. He was also sued by Jennifer in 2018 over similar allegations, but the case was dismissed months after she filed. Simmons maintained her allegations were absolutely untrue. By the way, Graham flew to Simmons' home in Bali, where he lived since 2017, to do the interview. But Sim denies fleeing, saying, because I left and I spent so much time here, people assume that I really left and ran, though I'm back in America all the time. Indeed, we actually saw Simmons in LA in 2018, and he was adamant the claims against him were false, which is still his stance today. Okay. So Russell Simmons said, I don't have anything against the Me Too movement. He said he feels like it changed the environment of how men move today, at least some of them, maybe not all. He also saying that, you know what? There got to be some type of balance, because the way there were times in this world, I can't quote the exact years, where people were a little more free with their sexuality. And I'm not saying free to the point where somebody should violate you, but so free that people didn't know their boundaries, right? It's a hard conversation to have, guys, but we're going to try to have it. Leo, you are up. And if you could do me a favor, Leo, after you speak, can you go down the line? I just need to call someone back really quickly, but it's only going to take me a few minutes. So, Leo, if you could speak, and then, in my opinion, then Felicia, I would appreciate that. I'll be right back. Go ahead, Leo.
Got you.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm wondering exactly what it is that everybody's upset about when it comes to people who are accused of crime, the word is accused of crimes, and we do want to respect the accuser. But what is the problem that we all have as a community to figure out, okay, just like Diva said, what if it was your brother, your father, your son, your cousin, you know, your man, right? Or let's say it's the female. Females are accused of these things as well. I feel like the collective conversation that Diva is trying to have is that we still need to have space for evaluating the evidence, the testimony, and feeling like whether, because this Brian Banks conversation I've had with my own people, my own men in my life, And people suffer a lot through this. And we can't blame just the lawyer. We need to blame the system. How do we have this conversation respectfully about how we evaluate these claims that come forth? With Russell Simmons, I have several questions about Russell. Russell can say he went to Bali to do what? His peace and his meditation, but you went there when you was accused of some crimes. Okay, so that is a question for me. Yes, we have all heard of a certain age of how Russell comported himself in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Is he a Diddy? I don't know. I don't know if he's a Diddy. The folks did come forth and say that he did. But I'm open to listening to the other side of that particular conversation. But let's be clear. I'm not putting a Russell Simmons, a Brother Love, a Jonathan Majors in the same conversation with a Brian Banks. I'm not doing that. Brian Banks and what he went through is a whole different type of set than what these powerful men with money went through. So I'm not putting them in the same category. So when it comes to Russell Simmons and those allegations, in my opinion, are we giving grace? Are we saying that we need to evaluate more evidence for Russell? What say you?
Okay, so first of all, first story, heartbreaking. I had a discussion the other day about the justice system. I don't think the justice system is just, nor is it swift. I think the justice system had a good balance when it was made, but I think we've had corrupt people to use the justice system to the way they want to use it. For the life of me, I don't believe Russell Simmons is no choir boy. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Russell Simmons had had allegations out there for years. Okay, and even the way he's talked to Kamora Lee and his children have caused room for pause. Of course, none of us know what they actually have done, but I am inclined to believe the victims in this case. And since they love the justice system so much, let the justice system decide upon the evidence what is fair and what is just for them. But I just hope they can't buy them way out of this, because that's the problem with our justice system. It seems like people with money and means are able to buy themselves out of a situation quicker than normal people like us.
In my opinion, do you think that Russell Simmons should come back to the States? And
of course he should. Why the heck did he leave when he... See, here's the thing with Russell Simmons' case. Russell Simmons is one of them type of people. He has this good boy look, good boy persona out there that made him feel like he was this, I'm going to help everybody in my community. I'm going to give back. I'm going to do this. But I think Russell Simmons saw that these people was coming for him, and he got on the first thing smoking. And coincidentally, you went to a country that didn't expedite.
That's right. That's right. All right. I love you, in my opinion. I appreciate your comments. Felicia, what you got for the people? Educate us.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'd like to... Okay, so Diva says, hey, we're going to elevate the conversation. So I'm going to go in the direction of Mr. Banks. what happened to this 16-year-old. Yeah. So I gather maybe Miss Gibson was 16 as well. I don't know what his parents may have expressed to him about sexual intimacy, sex on a whole, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. But he did something that maybe many 16-year-olds do, an act without thought that cost him 5 years of freedom. I'm really devastated by that story because I was looking for the name of the attorney who first counseled him. And as I often say on this panel, you don't just get a lawyer, you get a good lawyer. And you make sure you get a lawyer that is in the field of where you're being charged or having to be in court for. Now, when I was listening to him in this interview, there seemed to be some weight put on this football piece. I recall something about, well, you know, I promise you'll just get probation and you'll be all right. And, you know, you'll be able to play football and this and that. Okay. He was only 16. But where was his mother and father? Did they value football more than his freedom? Had that been my son, there would have been no conversation like that. We wouldn't even have gotten anywhere with that talk. That lawyer would have been out, gone. If I had to go out and get another job to pay for a better attorney, I would have. If I had to go up and ask friends and family to help me to get the retainer fee for a better attorney, I would have. Because I know what this system is about. This criminal penal system, this is an economic machine. And just as when we were talking last week about that young boy who has autism and he has oppositional something else, and I think Dr. Love said he was diagnosed to be a number 6 on a level 6.
I remember.
And he's in a school, or he was in a school, that with just a little bit of reading is based on the prison to pipeline system. You don't go to that school to be successful in life. You don't go to that school to learn a trade or a skill. You go to that school so you can be prepared to be incarcerated, to lose your freedom, to be the economic base for other people and their families. So once that attorney would have come in and said, hey, don't worry about it. I'm going to get you probation and you're going to be able to play football. You see, to me, that was the carrot. That was the charm. That was the piece. You know, put that piece of fame up here. Put that, what glitter looks like gold and silver and looks like the pathway out.
Okay, so Miss Felicia, can I challenge you in saying, and I'm asking the question respectfully, are you saying that his lawyer, if he would have got a different lawyer, a better lawyer, could this have been challenged with a trial and he would have gotten off?
According to the attorney from the Innocence Program, if I heard correctly, there was no DNA match. There was no week delay, meaning she came forward a week later to say this happened to her. She said it immediately. So there was no DNA match. There was no fingerprints. There was no bruising. There was no assault. None of that.
So what you're saying is that if been challenged in court in trial with a successful lawyer, a validated lawyer, someone who is there to actually vindicate their clients, the evidence would have been challenged successfully.
I believe so. And if they would not had the carrot of the football. I don't want that to be missed. I want that, especially my young sisters in that back row. I don't want you to miss that. It seems that many of these roads to me are paved with the promise of gold and wealth and fame. It doesn't seem to be anything other than that. Take a pill, do a drug, slop my knob, plead guilty, all of that, because you're going to get this thing you desire, whether it's fame, fortune, notoriety, an opportunity. It's never seems to me to be something simple like your freedom, your ability to remain healthy, not to be stressed out, not to need therapy for the rest of your life. So I'm wondering if he didn't have this talent, if this wasn't something that was being, because when you are talented, you are recruited early. So if this were something that he didn't have, would his parents thought differently? Sometimes we are raised not to value our freedom. And your freedom is not just that you're walking around free, but you got freedom of peace of mind. You can go out and make those choices. You see, Brian had to pay the big price before he understood choices and the decision making. Probably too much time in jail to think about the things that he did. So when we're talking about elevating conversation and how we prevent, perhaps we need to move away from wanting the designer clothes, the fame. We want to be in Hollywood. We want to be in the music industry. We want to play football. See, all of those is what that term is, like dog whistles for Black folks, because they tell us there's only like 3 or 4 things we can do. We can only rap, play football, do a movie here and there, and everybody else is a failure. I say BS.
Absolutely. You have argued your point expertly, Felicia, as always. All right, Steve, I'm done.
Leo, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. I heard y'all, even though I had to go off to the side and, do some things. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. And I heard facts, stand on business. I heard your end point, and I think I tried to, and I may not say it in the right way, but I tried to help people understand. Let's not be connected to things, because as Felicia is saying, the underlying message in a lot of these stories is some things, some material things. A lot of it. E, you're up.
Hello. So, I guess I'll start here. I am sorry to hear of Brian Banks' loss. I mean, that was a loss of time. Who knows what would have happened? No one deserves to be falsely accused. Be clear. What that one woman did was egregious. It was diabolical, and she should be held accountable. No negotiations on that. While the story of Brian is an important one, I hope many mothers and fathers will share that story with their sons, because it's easy and sometimes fast to think with the head below than it is up top, and every choice has a consequence. Not to say that what she did was right, but you understand what I'm saying. And still, I must steady the course and remind everybody, stories like Brian's are far and in between. Only 5% of reported SA incidents are proven false or are false, and 63% of SA cases are unreported. And so that's a vast difference that we're talking about here, or at least that's what I'm talking about. Those 5% of people who are falsely accused, my heart goes out to you. But on the other hand, and I speak for me, That 5% is minuscule in comparison to the 63% of victims who never come forward and are suffering in silence every day. I'm all for the district attorney who said in that package, or that attorney who said the district attorney was putting a team together to look into cases where alleged perpetrators have been wrongfully convicted and falsely accused. Hell yeah, release those innocent people and clean their records and give them their life back. That's the right thing to do. Right here and right now, because I know we're about to transition, I must be true to myself and what I know. It's too many men walking around free who turn a blind eye, a deaf ear, and a closed hand to not only women, but children and the elderly in need. I have said it once and I will say it again. If more men police other men the way they police us women and our bodies, then less crime would be going on right now. We're talking about R. Kelly. We're talking about Russell Simmons. We're talking about P. Diddy. These men didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They've been doing this for 30 years. And now that us women have filed the cases, made the paperwork, kicked up some dust, now we got all the men on the internet saying, oh yeah, I saw this every day on YouTube. I'm getting the notifications. Diddy's ex-bodyguard is telling this, and he saw this and this, that, and the third. Oh, where were you? Why didn't you call the cops? Okay, now let's move forward, because again, the Brian Banks story is the minority, but the Russell Simmons case is the majority. The first thing Russell said in that article, I've never been violent. That's what he led with. He never said I never R-worded anyone. He never said I didn't take advantage of anyone. He said all the relationships I've been in have been consensual, based upon what the women have been saying for 30 plus years, not just recently. Women have said this in the 90s, in the early 2000s. I remember Tyra Banks said it on camera. There were magazine articles about Russell. I don't believe him. I don't believe him. Underage girls cannot give consent, nor can girls who are inebriated or under the influence of drugs, allegedly. You don't have to be violent when the person is unconscious or the person is willing, but they're underage. He's playing dictionary. And I want to talk specifics. When a man who is powerful in some sense, or is rich and has access to resources, and he scouts, hunts, and is able to capture girls and young women who are inexperienced, vulnerable, and disadvantaged, some of them, most of them, they yield their assets as a weapon without striking you with the hand physically or calling you a derogatory slur. What Felicia just said is correct. Waving your, this future career. You want this career, you want to be on this magazine cover, or you want this next single, you want this song Neo wrote. Those are manipulation tactics. Russell says he is not violent, but he didn't say he wasn't manipulative. He didn't say he wasn't a predator. He didn't say he didn't offer quid pro quos. Listen to him carefully. They say that fame is a hell of a drug, but I say desperation and dreams of stardom are easy to prey on and plenty to find.
Okay. I hear your side, and I appreciate you, and I thank you, right? And yes, so 66%, which is a huge number, right? Don't report because of the shame, the fear of not being believed, and all of that, right? Don't disagree with that. Again, I'm trying to say, how do we get to the point of some type of prevention, right? And I understand you saying, well, that 5% doesn't matter. All right. You said it's no comparison, or forgive me if I'm saying your words wrong, right? There's no comparison. I think every story matters. I think every story matters. And again, I'm not saying anything about the 66%, but I am saying this. I think it is dangerous. And I'll just use myself for example. I'm out there saying, yes, 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 I was agreeable to the whole situation. Then later on, I don't like the choices I made. And so my story comes out differently. And everyone in these situations is not under 18. And so if I'm there doing some consensual stuff with you, do I later get to come out because I'm ashamed of my behavior and what I did and say, remix the story and rewrite history? Shan, you're up.
I think it's going to be almost impossible to find a prevention because there's always going to be horrible men and horrible women. And people see there's consequences, like there's going to jail, there's this, that, but there's still a bunch of women that aren't going to speak up. So people know there's not a lot of consequence for certain behavior. So as far as the prevention, it's going to be almost impossible. We hope not, right? I think what happened to the guy who you first showed was very sad.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with what E was saying. It's a rare occasion that, but at the same time, there's a lot of people. I watch a lot of true crime. That's like my hobby. True crime, investigation, discovery, snap. It happens where, people are wrongfully accused. But it is rare. So what I'm saying is I feel like people easily believe the men and they're going to be like, okay, the girl did him wrong and da. She did. Is it though? 48. This conversation is so interesting, but
don't get distracted. Speak from your heart, Shan.
What happened? Thank you, boo. I am, but I feel like it's a tricky situation. But I stand with the victims, the real victims, not the victims who make shit up. Stuff. But Russell, what's funny? That's exactly what I picked up. I picked up the same thing E said. He said, I was never violent. And immediately my head was like, there's a huge difference between being violent and being an horror. So that's my thoughts.
I hear you. And I'm getting ready to go. The backstage is full, y'all. I do apologize. I see somebody trying to get in. I will say this, right? I will say this, that people, we can ignore it and we can act like it doesn't happen. And I'm fine with that because y'all know I could be on the car by myself. But people, when it comes to celebrities, they lose their natural mind. They lose their natural mind. They lose their natural mind. And they will go into these situations. I'm not saying all. They will be agreeable to these situations. And then later on, it's like, shame on you. You're a horrible person. This is me. And if it comes out, we'll circle back to this video on this day. This is what I promise you. We know about Diddy right now. But if you want to sit here and really believe in your head that only perfect strangers was at these FO parties, okay. Sleep on that one. Some of the celebrities that you love, that you buying tickets to, that you're paying $500, $600, $700 tickets to, was at these FO parties. So Diddy is not the only one that want this thing shut down and to go away. Some of them party goers do too. Because they know if it comes out that their name and they was at these parties, they was sitting there, they didn't see nothing, they wasn't doing nothing, they didn't touch nobody.
Oh, not the king and queen.
I'm talking across the board.
I know.
I'm talking across the board. So it's just like with R. Kelly. See, what happens is the R. Kellys and once they get caught, it's almost like a cold. You're gonna go down by yourself. But at the end of the day, they could name some people and shut Hollywood down. So we're like, oh, Diddy. Diddy wasn't partying alone, and Diddy wasn't partying with no damn perfect
No,
stranger.
you're gonna be shocked. The king and the queen was there.
Well,
That's what I know.
come on, in my opinion. Come on. So we sitting here like, get Diddy, get Diddy, get Diddy. I'm not saying don't get Diddy. But I'm letting y'all know, let's not be so naive to think that 90% of Hollywood ain't doing something similar and they wasn't at these FO parties. They were there. Come on. Jeffrey Epstein, he was the
Even
one.
some of y'all favorite pastors was there.
Come on now, in my opinion. The one that tells you to pray to God and God going to save you and all that. If we're going to talk, in my opinion, right, let's talk. So we sit here and we say, believe, but
having them a good old time, Diva. They were taking pictures and all.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we sit here and say, believe. I'm not saying don't believe. But what I am saying is all of them would not just straight up, look, some of them was getting down with the get down and partying with the get down. This girl, when I get to her story, she want to talk about how she seen it. She's so loud and proud now. Go sit down and shut up. I went to the house with her. You went to the house with her, but you didn't save her. Now you want to talk about your trauma because of what you saw. My thing is, what we need to get to, and I understand, Shan, nothing is going to ever be 100%, but if we say 1, we could drop this thing down from 66% maybe to 65%.
Somebody had a great comment about prevention. Why this 114? That's a good point.
Where is it? Oh, the prevention villains needs to stand up. Come on now. When you see older people going after younger vulnerable people, we need to intervene. But you know what though? Why this is 114? It's not always just them preying on the young. It's not. Some of these people, 20s, 30s. They're not all the victims were not just young people in high school. They weren't. They're not.
Young Miami is no victim. She getting paid $350,000 a month, remember?
Well, that's why she's going silent right now. But see, here's the thing, right? My thing is there can be some prevention, but it got to start in your home. When you push that baby out, you got to instill something in these kids. And I'm telling you, you could be straight up in the ghetto, poor, raised on assistance, and still got values. You got to let these people stop having them look up to, and listen, I'm not shading anybody. Stop having them look up to the Kobe Bryants and the LeBron James and the whoever, whatever celebrity it is. And like Felicia said, I caught the tail end of it. We want to say the only way you're going to be successful if you be an NBA player, a football player. That's why these parents are in the fields acting a fool because of what a ref made a call on their kid. Because the only thing they got in their head is my kid needs to get in the NBA. And if you look at the numbers on who actually gets in, they'd rather throw all their eggs in that one basket. Like that's the only key to success. Chanel, you up?
This is a lot. So I first want to say I think it's disgusting what this young lady did. You know, this young man went to jail wrongfully accused of something that didn't actually happen. And so I think it's disgusting. And I also think she needs to go to jail for whatever his sentence was. She needs to go. Because you can't go around falsely accusing people of stuff and have no consequence and just say I'm sorry, especially when his consequence was so egregious. Can you imagine having to sit in a prison with hard heads? And anyway, I'm not even gonna go down that road. But I do think the bigger problem is, unfortunately, our legal systems aren't set up to have any defendant go to trial, if you think about it. Even in traffic court, if you go and you have a ticket, those attorneys in there immediately want to settle. They're like, okay, your traffic ticket was $270. If you pay today, we'll listen it to $110. But you'll still have this whatever on your record, or if you pay a certain amount, you'll have it removed from your record. It's the same thing in the criminal court. What they're going to come to you is here's this plea from the DA or from whoever. And if you have an attorney, your attorney is just like the other attorneys, which is not all attorneys. Let me speak generally and not like put everybody in the same category, but I'll just say my experiences with court systems, and I've had a lot of experience. I feel like what happens is the attorneys don't want to work. They don't want to have to hire the investigators. They don't want to have to go to trial. All of that takes manpower and money and work. And so it's easier to just say, here, offer them this. And a lot of times if you're brown or any variation of that, they come to you and they're like I think you may have said this, or maybe the person on the video said it, which is basically, I think the guy said it. His attorney came to him and was like, you could take this plea deal over here and, you can get out in 10 years, or you can take your chances with the jury. And because you're Black and because you're tall and you're, how our society sees brown men, there's a greater chance that you're going to go to jail and it's not going to be for 10 years. So would you rather take 10 years now or, roll the dice and get 30 years or whatever it is? And I think even if you are a person who has, a good upbringing, and even if you're the hardest criminal walking the earth, it's like, do I take my chances with 25 years or 30 years, or do I take my chances with 10? So to me, that's the biggest problem, is that we have to fix that part of it, that attorneys couldn't just do that all the time. I feel like they should tell everybody all of their options, but I don't think they do that all the time. What else was I going to say? There's one or two other things I was going to say. I think to you, Diva, your point of view about like the prevention and, trying to help young adults, in the home, it starts in the home, teaching your kids about the world. I do think prevention is needed, but I think it's very idealistic, right? Because in order for the prevention part to work, specifically with like a case like this, is you have to have the support of law enforcement, and then the court systems need to also work. So it's sort of like, if this does happen, I need to be able to go to the court and have justice happen. But justice doesn't happen. Just like I explained, your lawyer's like, just take a plea. So the justice doesn't back up the prevention part of it. So it's difficult to say, let's go ahead and prevent all these things from happening. And plus, like you said, people, unfortunately, like you said, they get caught up in celebrity, or they get caught up in, I don't believe this person, I don't believe the victim. So it's difficult for people to, even if they do the right thing along the way, to stick to it. I do think that, I think this situation, I think you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. I think what E is trying to get at, and maybe even Shan is trying to get at, is just, it's great that this lady was found out and that, he was acquitted and all this stuff, right? It's great that that happens. I think what they are getting at is, like, at the end of the day, like you said, everybody matters, right? But this type of story, that lady and this guy's situation is the exception, meaning it does happen, but it's way less likely for it to happen. So it kind of feels like when someone comes and it's like, see, we told you this does happen to men too, and you got to protect your son and, all that kind of stuff, which obviously you should do. But I think that's kind of where it hits somebody, because it's kind of like, we're talking about this 1% over here that finally someone is saying that, see, I told you last time, this happens to men too, and women falsely accuse men too. Nobody's saying that. I think what they're getting at is that when it does happen, the unfortunate situation that'll roll with that is the next time a Bill Cosby or some person is accused, they're going to use this case and they're going to say, see, it's not always that we could believe the victim. This person over here, he went to jail for 5 years because we believe the victim. And that's where I think the waters get murky. So it's like, we're using this 3% to kind of battle with the 85% or the 67%. But I do agree that all of it matters. It's just unfortunately in this country, our track record for believing victims and especially women victims is just not, it's so unbalanced. And I think that's probably what they're more getting at, but y'all can tell me if I'm right or wrong about that. But I do think she deserves to go to jail for however many years he was supposed to go to jail. And she needs to pay back whatever the 1.5 million or whatever the amount is, because people need to understand you can't get away with it. But I think what is going to happen is she ain't going to get away with it. And the unfortunate part is,
I want to break in. She already did, because I got
I'm sorry.
stories to get to. But I want to say this. Out of that 66%, you saying all 66 are females?
No, I'm just saying that 1 in 4 women, this I do know, will be sexually assaulted or SA'd in their lifetime. So I don't know how many women are on this panel, but
no.
a whole bunch of us will get
there's
it'll happen.
66% don't come forward.
Oh, yeah, a lot of victims.
You take all of them. No, let's not speculate. What's the math on the numbers on how many of that 66 are female?
I don't have that.
Right. No, I'm not saying you do. Right. I'm not saying you do. I'm not coming at you. I'm just having a conversation. We need to do the math and come up with the numbers on what percentage of that is actual female or male. There's a lot
that don't come forward.
Yeah. There's a lot of men that don't come forward either. Just as bad
100%.
as this is bad as, a female think nobody's going to believe me. A male has that same shame and embarrassment.
Yeah.
Listen, the whole Boy Scouts. Look up the case, y'all. Look up the case. It was male after male after male after male.
The Catholic Church too
took their own lives.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's probably a really high number, but I think the problem with why the male victims don't usually come forward, this is just my opinion. I do think there's something about, oh, well, then he must be a homosexual if this happens to him. It's that, I think it's a different type of embarrassment than it is for a female, because people automatically assume certain things if you're a male or you're not as hard or you're not
1
as
in
whatever.
33 males have experienced or attempted.
Let me interject y'all with another story real quick, and then I got to get to Dustin.
Of a Detroit rape is now suing the state of Michigan over wrongful imprisonment.
And James Chad Clay is now searching for justice to keep others from suffering his same fate. 7 Action News reporter Anu Prakash joins us right now with more on his mission. Anu.
Well, Carolyn and Dave, he'd been sentenced to 25 to 50 years behind bars. He wound up serving more than a year and 7 months in prison. Even though he's been exonerated, he wants the state to pay for his mistakes.
It's more than a nightmare. The words can't even explain to how I feel. Even right now, here today, being released from prison, coming home to nothing.
In a lot of ways, James Clay, who goes by the name Chad, feels like he's still behind bars, even though he's been exonerated of a 1997 rape of a then 15-year-old girl.
It just did me real bad. And it's a struggle every day since I've been out.
In 2017, he was convicted of that rape and sentenced to 25 to 50 years behind bars. For years, the victim's rape kit, along with thousands of others, languished on a shelf in an old warehouse. Chad's attorney says it was finally discovered in 2009 and tested in 2016. Some DNA came back to Chad. Turns out the victim was Chad's high school girlfriend.
They could have been solved this problem a long time ago. Why did those rape kits sit so long?
The lawsuit is also critical of police, saying that they showed the victim a picture of Chad as an adult who she didn't recognize. It wasn't until years later when Chad's mom hired a private investigator. The victim was shown a picture of Chad as a teen. She then realized it was her high school boyfriend, not the one who dragged her into an alley at gunpoint and raped her. Chad says police had shown him a picture of the victim as an adult.
I couldn't recognize the girl. She was my girlfriend. I haven't seen her since I was 16. I'm 38 years old now. They showed me a picture of her at age 35. How should I supposed to remember that? That's the best they could have done.
People's lives are on the line. You don't do the best we could do. If this rape kit had been tested and analyzed on any kind of a timely basis, let's say a year, as soon as they showed her a picture of him, that's my boyfriend from a year ago. That's not him. That's not the rapist. And this didn't come out because of things like 20-year gaps.
Now, based on the Wrongful Imprisonment Compensation Act, the lawsuit says Chad is entitled to just over $81,372. We did reach out to the Attorney General's office, and they tell us they don't have any comment at this point because of the pending litigation.
Anu, did they ever find the true perpetrator here, the one who committed the rape?
Sadly, they did not, because it turns out there wasn't enough DNA evidence for there to be a valid test done. So that has not been solved. And also, Chad's attorney says that this isn't the end. They are exploring additional legal avenues. No doubt that Chad has been going through quite a lot.
Certainly needs to be followed, too.
Yeah.
Okay, Dustin, you're up.
I just want to say that it is a very emotional story tonight. It's very sad that this had to happen this way. I'm glad he's out now, but it is very sad that it took so long to get him justice. I think that he should have had justice a very long time ago. His whole future was taken away from him at a very young age, and that's not right to me. That is a very emotional statement that you just said, Diva. I appreciate you having a very open panel about things that need to be happening, but I do believe that things need to change on everything that we do. Things just need to change, and I wish things more would have been more. I wish it wouldn't have took so long. In fact, what I'm just trying to say, I wish it would have been more quickly found out, because I think his whole future was taken away from him wrongfully, and for him to be in prison for 5 years for a thing that he did not do, that is so sad. And I'm so glad that he's out now. I'm so glad that he got a second chance at what he wanted to do for his dreams. But it's still a very emotional thing for me, because his whole future was taken away. I think he's older now. His whole life was just changed, just like that, and it is very emotional. And I wish it would have been. I wish it would have been sooner, Diva.
Thank you, Dustin. Darbs, you said it doesn't fit. It's destroyed by allegations. Destroyed by allegations.
I
We
mean,
just didn't get past 1 second, Dustin. We just didn't get past the Russell Simmons story. Brother Love is coming up, and Jonathan Majors. Everybody, 120 seconds when I come to you. Go ahead, Dustin.
Can I ask you what you think about this, Diva?
No, the whole thing is they're all Thank you, 48 TCO. It's called Trending Topics, and it's destroyed by allegations. All of these people were destroyed by allegations. I spent time when I pulled this stuff together. So Russell Simmons saying the allegations destroyed him. Destroyed him. Now, listen, I was not there. This man is saying he didn't do it. Okay. I don't know. Go ahead, Dustin. What was you gonna say?
No, I just think it's very sad. I think that they should have done it a long time ago, but it's done and over with now. But still, I still think that changed his life. Serve 5 years in prison for something you didn't do, and stuff like that. So that's just a whole different mess.
Yeah. Okay. Julius, 120 seconds. You're up.
The two wrongful convictions remind me of Idris Elba's character from Tyler Perry's Daddy's Little Girls. We all know the movie. But the best example that I can think of when it comes to allegations, Michael Jackson. And he was brought through the ringer. Not once, but twice. So if he could be prosecuted, not once, but twice, so can the rest of these people who probably have a lot more to hide. And I yield back.
I thank you. Chanel said MJ was guilty, but he's still being sued in his death. His estate is being sued. They're circling back to these guys that did the documentary that was snatched off of, I want to say, HBO. It was snatched off of HBO. Now I will say this: every time a documentary is done, it like buries the people. But they snatched that documentary off of HBO before it could really get legs. It was on HBO for like 2.2 seconds. Some people were outraged. It was either HBO or OWN. I think Oprah helped make it, and they were pissed at Oprah. They wanted to bury her because how dare you bring these allegations against Michael Jackson. And then the next thing you know, that documentary was gone. And they accused those male victims of lying.
And I say that as a male victim. I just want to say.
Right. They accused, it was HBO, thank you, Saskades. They accused them of lying. And they said they wanted a money grab. And they said their parents accepted money, selective outrage. Come on now. They said their parents wanted money. And see, we're saying they were lying. See, what I don't understand is, what I wonder is, and this is just me talking, how do we determine who's a liar and who's not? Is it based upon how well we like the person that is being accused? Because everybody called those Michael Jackson accusers straight up liars.
I just have to say,
I didn't.
On the wrongful convictions, I knew someone who I went to school with where that actually happened. The girl kept changing her story. And so eventually the person told my ex-schoolmate he was free to go, but it was too late. His life was already tarnished. I don't even know where he is now.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Come on, Dadon, right? It's like if we like the person or we believe the person, is selective belief, selective outrage. Nah, that one's a liar. No, she's telling the truth. Believe the victims. No one stood up for the male victims that was accusing Michael Jackson. They blamed the parents, said the parents were money grabbers. They blamed them. They said they lied. They took it back. They said this. They said they kept changing their story over and over again. Denzel, you got 120 seconds. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm sorry. What was his name? Was his name Brian?
Right, but this is more about Russell Simmons. I showed the story to kind of pull everything together about destroyed by allegations. But Russell Simmons is pretty much saying, I ain't do it.
Well, I was just wanting to just say I'm sorry that happened to Brian. I'm sorry that he was in prison for 5 years. I'm sorry that happened to him, and I hope that woman, I hope she gets her karma. God don't like ugly. You don't go around and spread lies about people. You don't do that. And to the other man, I feel sorry for him too. That's messed up. Our justice system is so messed up. And for Russell Simmons, I don't believe him. To me, I think he's lying. And then he when he was with Kamora Lee Simmons, was she 16?
But can I tell you this with Kamora Lee Simmons? She had many people, including Tyra Banks, her fellow model, that told her, beware of him. Kamora said, I got this.
That's what she said?
Pretty much. I'm paraphrasing.
But he knew she was 16, correct?
So did her mama.
So what?
So did her mother. Her mother knew she was 16.
Come on
now. Her mother knew she was 16 and that he was an old man.
She knew, Diva?
How could you not know how old Russell Simmons was? See, the thing is, everybody excuses it when it's a celebrity.
No, but she knew they were dating.
I don't want to get off track, Denzel.
Yeah, she knew Denzel. She knew.
Yeah. Come on.
No, well, I'm sorry.
Your seconds are dwindling.
No, I'm sorry, Diva. No, the thing is, he's sick. He's sick. The parents sick. Why would you let your daughter be with an old man? And why would he's sick and her parents are sick, and it's disgusting. And I just want to say one more thing, Diva. And like, people like, I'm gonna be honest, like some people like Michael Jackson. I used to like Michael Jackson, but people saying that he's innocent. Me, I don't think he is, because I saw a video. I saw a video, and you can look it up. I don't want to take much time because you got other stories to do. But it's a video on the internet, and he was all hugged up with this boy, and it was it was
Well, I
it
want to
was
move
weird.
past that, Denzel. All right, got it. So I got it.
I'm sorry about that.
You're fine. You're fine. I just want to move past that. I want to get to some of these other stories because this is an important topic. The thing is that I want everybody to understand there's a lot of dynamics in these situations. There are some who clearly know, and I get it. Everybody's saying you can't consent at 16. You can't consent if you're a child. What we got to understand is that I want to prevent these children from becoming victims. Once you become a victim, you could get millions of dollars and it still may not cure you and help you and save your mind that they innocently took and destroyed. And all I'm saying is, in Kimora Lee's situation, Tyra Banks warned her that this man does what he did allegedly, and Kimora Lee forged forward. So let's move on to our next story here.
Diva, I hate to interrupt, but I have something that I'd like to share that's factual, because sometimes things get thrown in the chat. And just to be on fact,
yes.
In 2017, New York raised the age of consent to be married in New York from 14 years of age to 17 years of age. I'm done.
Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate you.
Thank
you. I do. I appreciate you. Right. So let me move in. Where do I want to go? Let me go. We talked about Russell Simmons. Let me talk about the girlfriend, and I ain't even gonna meet too much of her story.
Diva, your volume went out again.
I'm going down. Can y'all hear me?
No, I hear you fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I hear you fine too.
Thank you. All right. So anyway, Cassie's friend pens scathing letter to Diddy backing abuse claims. I'm traumatized by you. Grammy-winning songwriter Tiffany Redd has come forward to publicly collaborate her longtime pal Cassie claimed that Diddy was abusive to her. This is me saying this respectfully. We don't need another collaboration about Cassie because we believe her. Girl, so what's going on here? I'm breaking my silence, freeing myself from haunting recollections, standing in solidarity with Cassie and standing up for myself. She began in a bombshell letter published in the Rolling Stone on Thursday. I fear for my safety, as her suit alludes to me. Although not by name, I hope that revealing my identity to the public will afford me some measure of protection. Red 36 claims she witnessed a heated confrontation between Cassie and Diddy at a karaoke spot they were all gathered at for the Me and You singer's 29th birthday in 2015. When I walked out of the room, you had her backed into a corner in the hallway outside of the door, and your security surrounded you two as you cursed her out and with your hands in her face, the R&B singer alleged. She and I briefly made eye contact. I felt helpless. She looked afraid and kept looking down at the floor. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. Red claimed Cassie asked her to accompany them back to her place, and she did so because she was worried the bad boy executive would hurt her, his then girlfriend. Prior to the incident, Cassie had confided in me that you were physically abusive, and the way you were in her face that night was alarming to me. I didn't want to leave her alone. Red claimed later that night while Cassie at Cassie's house, she was woken up by Diddy screams, who allegedly shouted at her, "Emotional, singing B, where are you?" You were visibly intoxicated, and so was Cassie. She appeared sedated and very withdrawn. It was the first time I saw her this way. Red claimed Diddy was fuming because Cassie would not have sex with him. She told she told the "I need a girl" rapper she doesn't have to have sex with you if she doesn't want to. However, Diddy allegedly responded, "She going to get this D," and the couple allegedly drove off. I was terrified for Cassie and completely traumatized, Red wrote. She later told me you made her have a freak off, which Cassie described in her lawsuit as an arrangement where you would make her perform acts with random people. The songwriter who worked with Cassie on songs like "Don't Let Go" and "Simple Things" added that she has been disturbed to her core over the alleged incident she witnessed. However, Red claimed that the birthday party was not the only incident of abuse she allegedly saw. There were occasions when I heard you yelling at her, making threats, ba 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 ba, a party in Malibu. She witnessed other stuff. Y'all was getting IV the night of the partying. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to just go faster to say she's claiming she's traumatized. She has anxieties, paranoia, PTSD. Saying Diddy needs to be stopped. Leo, your thoughts?
I have taken in so much information about the alleged accusations against Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
So I am speechless.
Yeah.
Like, I have no more words. You know, this is, if people are coming forth in an unprecedented way. So I'm going to have to give it back to the panel because I can't, I don't have the ability to process all these accusations. You need to strike Brother Love and put it in terms of a monster that is a predator in exponential levels. I don't even know how you put a title on this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything. I reclaim my what is it? I recuse my time to the others.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
The word is yield.
It's yield. Yes, yield my time to the others.
In my opinion, you're up.
Okay, Diva, let me tell you something. Child, I'm traumatized by all these things. So where I get my check from? I need a check too, because y'all traumatizing me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so tired of talking about this stuff. Man, did he do it to some? Yes, of course, we believe he did it.
That part.
But why is now everybody coming with the "whoa, it was me"? What was y'all when this girl was getting her behind beat? Y'all was quiet as a mouse. Now everybody want to speak. That now she got her money. Everybody want to speak. I was there too. I'm traumatized too. Now we all traumatized. Cut all of us a check. We can use a check too.
Come on now. You went there to save her, but then they end up driving off without you anyway. Felicia, you're up.
Okay, so let's keep it real simple. Miss Ventura's complaint was 35 pages, and I think we may have read some of it on this panel, but I know that some of us read it together.
Mm-hmm.
And there were two people named by name. Now, that was Carrie Morgan, her dear friend that took that hanger to the head, took that beat down from Mr. Combs. And he and Miss Ventura had to settle with her out of court. And the other one was Mr. Roger Bonds. So Miss Red here, where was she when they were drafting this civil suit? How come she didn't come forward and get her witness statement or her account into this document.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she had nothing to offer then. She wasn't being brave. She wasn't being a good friend. She's just now having these moments of post-traumatic stress disorder, whatever's happening with her. I don't feel any empathy for this woman. And I don't feel in any way that anything she's saying has any validity, because she would have come forward and had her name in that historical 35-page complaint.
Come on now. I appreciate you. E, you're up.
It's not even going to take me 45 seconds.
All right,
Listen, this girl says she was scared. Well, why didn't she call the police? Brian just told us this is a black man. He big and burly, and he has access to weapons. Well, call the police. Send an email to the FBI. Go to their website. I've done it a few times myself. Get on your phone. I'm sure all of these people have the latest iPhone because, you know, they like to be Instagram models and whatnot. Go to the voice memo app. Hit record. Get the evidence. I'm not interested in hearing this. I only want to hear from Danity Kane now. The next people who come out, let them beat the girls from Danity Kane. If not, keep it. I yield my time. Shout out to Nikki and Leo. Yield. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo. That's what I'm saying. Paige, I'm with you on this. Women like her are watering down situations for real victims. Yes. Girls, go somewhere, sit down and shut up. Or go hand your statement to the lawyer that in case he's get other people's cases, and your statement will be there. You were scared, you're traumatized because of what you saw, but you went to the house to spend the night so you could help her, and then you didn't even help her.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Chanel.
Y'all are gonna give me a headache. I cannot. I completely disagree with everybody. Except Leo, because I can't remember what she said. I think she said she just don't have a comment or something. I disagree, because this is what I'm saying. This, when we, regardless of whether or not what she's saying is valid or invalid, whether or not you think it is or isn't, it doesn't invalidate her. So this conversation or this idea of, well, why is she doing it now? Oh, it's because she saw that her friend got paid. Why are we doing that? Again, we should not be focused on the victims and trying to discredit them. I think, how long does it take for a victim to come forward to, for whatever reason this lady feels empowered? If we're going to sit here and say people should feel empowered to come forward, and then she comes forward, but because she doesn't come forward in the time frame that you've decided is most ideal or most believable, then somehow she has to get discredited. I don't know if this lady is telling the truth or not, but I think she should have the right to do so without people like coming at her neck about, oh, well, she just want to clout chase or she want to get money or whatever. That's the reason that people will sit at home and say, well, you know what, I'm not going to say anything, because of comments like that. If we're standing on the Me Too, we can't pick and choose which people can come forward and when they can come forward. Let's just be very clear. The reason the civil rights movement moved forward was because people stood together. One person saying it, maybe nobody will believe it. But if I see this other person that for whatever reason, like you said, Diva, I believe her, we already believe her. So she's credible, and something happened to me as well, or I witnessed such and such happen. Why am I wrong? Why am I being, my credibility being attacked because I happen to know the person that got, the settlement or whatever it is? I just think it comes across very.
Chanel, do you know that's a letter that
What's
she
the
made
letter?
public? She wrote a letter to Mr. Combs and made it public.
Come on now, talk.
This isn't a civil lawsuit. This isn't a criminal lawsuit. She wrote a letter to Mr. Combs and made the letter public.
Come on now, talk.
Okay, but what is
okay?
That?
And so, and you still feel okay? Okay, all right.
I'm saying respectfully, it's not targeted at any person per se. I'm just giving the other side of it, and what I'm saying is, we can't talk out of both sides of our mouth. We can't say on.
I'm not speaking out of. I'm not speaking out of both sides of my mouth.
I'm not
very
saying
clear.
you are. I'm saying
she wrote a letter. If I write you a letter, I'm going to mail it to you, email it to you, fax it to you, FedEx it to you. I'm not going to the media with a letter. She went with a letter and made it very public.
I don't see how that discredits her.
She should have went to the police. Yes.
I can't make a decision for somebody else and their grief or their truth. I'm not here
Well,
to
what is
pick
she?
apart
So tell me,
why
what do
she
you
did
think?
whatever she did.
What
You would have
does
to
she
ask her
think?
that. I don't know.
What
I'm
do
not
you
her.
think she's going to accomplish? What do you think her goal was?
I am not her. So I can't speak for her. I'm saying this only. What I'm saying is this. We can't say on one day, we need to believe the victims and they should have a space that's safe to come forward and expose whomever. But because they didn't do it in the proper way or the way we think that they should have done it, because people, I promise you, will tell you, well, why didn't they do this and why didn't they do that? And they will pick at every little thing, every little detail,
I'm not picking.
just so they can.
I'm asking why, if I'm writing you a letter about something you did to me, why am I putting it on a very public platform?
I cannot answer that because I am not her. But what I can say is this.
And then she didn't file a lawsuit. This not a lawsuit. This not a victim. So we can't say she a victim.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. She's not a victim. What is she? How is she
I
a victim?
could have sworn Diva was saying something about this lady is claiming she's a victim as well or something like that.
No, she
but maybe I got it wrong.
Hold on, guys. Hold on,
She
guys.
said she was there
Hold
when
on,
Clinton was assaulted.
Hold on, guys. Let's let Chanel have her time. Okay, let's let her have her time. We want to finish her time, and I got to get to the others. But all we're trying to say is this, right? But I want you to finish your time. Is that I muddy the waters if I go to Instagram and put my grief out on Instagram. I'm writing this letter to Diddy on Instagram. What am I trying to do? Is going back to what I'm saying is we want the street justice, right? We want to rally up. And most of what she said is nothing new, is exactly what Cassie already said in her lawsuit that she already got compensated for. So she added nothing new. We know that Diddy allegedly plied her with the substances. We know that Diddy had these FO parties, right? Because of whatever the case may be, because she said it in her thing. This girl added nothing different in her letter. So I'm just saying that what is her real point and what is she trying to achieve, but adding sensationalism to what is already out there by doing this letter that she sent to a publication. But I want you to finish your thought process, Chanel, and then I'm going to move to Dustin. So I'll give you 60 seconds.
I don't know. I just think people use the platforms that they feel maybe has the biggest impact. And I see people, because we live on a global stage, you put it on Twitter, if you put it on Instagram, maybe she didn't want to go to the court or whatever the case may be. And even if she decided, no, I don't want to go to court, I don't want to sue him or whatever, I just want to tell my story, I don't know why I'm wrong because I chose to tell whatever it is that she put on her letter on Instagram. I just don't understand why that's problematic. What's wrong with me saying this, I witnessed this and putting it on my Instagram? Why do I have to go to the police? Why do I have to do it in whatever way the public feels I should do it? I feel like if it was me and that's what I felt comfortable with doing, that's what I'm going to do. I just don't understand why. It just feels condescending. That's all. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Gotcha. Thank you. Dustin, you're up.
I just want to say that this is a very touchy topic and it is a very serious topic. So I'm going to pray for everybody that's involved, and that's all I'm going to say tonight.
I appreciate you, Dustin. I appreciate your prayers. Julius, you're up. I'm getting serious, y'all, about this 120 seconds.
I have to say, just now what I heard, and after with some clarification, I'm connecting with what Nikki is saying, and I think we don't give credit to folks that we lean on when we go through something like this. PTSD is real, and I think that's what she experienced. So I'm connecting with it. If that's what she means, so I yield back.
All right. I appreciate you. I hear you. Okay. You got a connection there, Nikki. Wayne, you're up.
Wait a minute. Okay. I was going to say, I mean, you know, I agree. You come forth in your own, excuse me, in your own time. But if you're coming forth for a reason, either to deter other people or whatever, you know, just my opinion. I think she could have done it more in a timely manner. Because when you don't, people question. Like, okay, why are you doing it? Is it really true? It's been so long. I feel sorry for her if it happened. I don't believe her or disbelieve her. I don't. Have no either way. But at the same time, you can see. If when people come out, if they're going to come out with a statement or something like that, it's like if I tell you 1 + 1 equals the number, why don't you just tell me what it equals? Okay, if you're gonna tell your story, say something to kind of add something to it. Says, look, y'all young women out there, I done been through this. Okay, let me give you a little bit of education. Let me show you how not to get caught up.
Come on now.
It happened to me. So, I mean, seem like if you really want to, state it and show people that, hey, this is something that can happen, listen to me. But just to put it out there, yeah, I saw it. I ain't really do nothing about it, and I'm scared for me now, whatever. I'm just saying, if you're gonna say put one way out, then come back up with some results or some, a possible resolution. Look, don't go down that road. They shooting folks. I almost got shot. Okay, you go down the road and get shot anyway, and now people say, well, why you go down there? Oh, don't blame her. They shouldn't have went there. It's not their fault they went down. Sure, it's not, but I gave you some useful information that you could use. Now, if you don't use it, that's up to you. And if something happens and people not saying, oh, I feel so bad for that person. Oh, this, that. And they coming at you like, they told you don't go. Why'd you go? So I just think I'm not, what do you call it, victim shaming the person. I just think that if she's going to do that part, maybe she should come back with another video saying, now, y'all heard that part, but look, let me give y'all some education. Let me tell y'all what not to do or what to look out for as a precaution. That's all.
Got you. Thank you, Wayne. Why this 114? Thank you for the super chat. She put the letter public to protect herself. She says she's afraid for her life for supporting Cassie. If she sent the letter privately, how does that protect her? I honestly didn't hear about this girl until this letter, right? And so, but I hear you. I hear what you're saying. That was why she put it out. But I didn't hear about her. I didn't see her in any of the other court cases. I didn't see her name named. I don't know. I felt like within the letter, she was saying, now that I'm saying this, I'm afraid for my life or whatever. But I understand what you're saying. We are all traumatized by the P double has done. Where is Diddy cutting checks for us? This is what she wants, money. Yeah, I don't see the effectiveness of the approach that she took in this letter that she sent to a publication. Denzel, you're up.
Yeah, this is gonna be very quick because I don't want you to be overtime because I get long-winded sometimes, Diva. So I don't want to have you overtime. So this is gonna be very quick. Did the devil? This is all I'm gonna say. The devil Diddy, wherever his name is, he's a dangerous man, and he's going down. He is going down. That's it, and that's all.
I appreciate you, Denzel, but can I say this? And this is going to rock the train a little bit. Maybe just rock it. You just got to hold on for a quick second.
Rock it.
No, Diva, don't rock it, please.
Let me put my seatbelt on. Hold on.
No, this is quick. I promise you this. If Diddy was to throw a party tomorrow, the house would be packed.
That part, Diva.
Let's not give him no ideas, Diva.
No, okay. Listen, I don't need to give him no ideas. The problem I want is these people to knock it off. If this man was to throw a party tomorrow, I promise you there would be people there, male, female, and everybody in between. I'm showing this real quick.
It's not true. We need to know now, and we need to stop the progression of this whole thing from getting worse because it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
And only on 7 News, this police interview with a Fort Collins woman. She was later convicted for making phony rape accusations, and the man she accused was arrested and put in jail 1 year ago today. Well, tonight, he is speaking to 7 News reporter Lindsay Watts about why he is still struggling to pick up the pieces.
It's definitely a reminder of what I've been through.
Accused of rape, cuffed at the police station the day before Thanksgiving.
I'd ask you some questions regarding the crime of sexual assault.
Watching it back 1 year later, Dustin Toth says his life still feels out of control.
Okay.
His accuser, Catherine Bennett, a coworker he'd started dating.
And right now, the statements that I've been given do not match evidence.
This is exclusive video of her police interview. As Toth sat in jail, her story fell apart.
I'm not telling you to drop charges. I want to know the facts about what happened.
Bennett later convicted of making it all up. She was sentenced to 35 days in jail, then an ankle monitor and probation.
I don't feel that's justice.
Toth says he's the one who's been punished. The Army National Guardsman lost his civilian job and was out of work for nearly 6 months after the arrest.
I've been behind on my car payment ever since.
He has his friends, but the emotional pain is still there.
I feel like I'm incapable to actually trust a woman again.
He says it's telling his story that's helping him heal.
Giving me the opportunity to share it gives me the opportunity to clear my name, because I still feel like my name is not cleared.
Lindsay Watts, 7 News.
Whew. I showed that story. Why did I show that story? Because I want to talk really quickly. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me stop this. I wanted to tell that story because I'm bringing up Jonathan Majors. So Jonathan Majors, again, I don't necessarily think, I don't know what happened, wasn't there, right? But my thought process is these two tussled a lot. I think these two, throughout their relationship, they put hands on each other. These are just my thoughts, right? And I think that at some point, she realized she wasn't the one. She should have realized before. When a man tells you, if you look in the mirror and you don't even fit the ethnicity that this man wants you to be like, you in trouble. When a man looks at you and tells you he wants you to be like Michelle Obama or Coretta Scott King, Coretta Scott King is almost next to it. Like come on. And Michelle Obama, what she got to do? She have a PhD, Michelle Obama? I don't know. You want me to be like Michelle? You want me to be like Coretta Scott King? I mean, do I have to go out there and start up some marches and say what you asking me to be like? You don't like me for who I am? Allegedly, I come to meet your dogs. I just mentioned out of innocence. Oh, I know how to work with dogs because my boyfriend had a dog. Now you pissed. Tell me to shut up. My old boyfriend was stupid. I'm stupid and whatever. You said you felt scared. I gotta ask you though. Somebody scares you, and you go live with them, and you let them touch your body. It just don't make sense to me. So she in the car, and these cell phones, they lifesavers, and they taking lives at the same time. She in the car with him. The cell phone do whatever be. I don't know if he had an iPhone. I don't know what he had. And some other girl, Cleopatra. So it's all people that she can't touch them. Gonna be like Cleopatra? I don't know. Cleopatra, she texts him and say, I wish I was kissing you now. Whatever she said in that text. They get the
Not
text.
Cleopatra, Diva.
Well, didn't they say Cleopatra? What was the name in the phone?
The name was Cleopatra, and I think
Come on, Felicia. I thought I read it right.
I'm doing all the reading, okay?
Come
And
on now, please.
I think Miss Megan looks like Cleopatra.
Okay.
Felicia, not you condoning this.
They was tussling. They was tussling.
Isn't Megan White?
Allegedly, he picked up, tossed her back in the car like a football.
I'm confused.
Dang, what is this? Ike and Tina?
They got videos. They got all kind of stuff. She on the stand crying, carrying on. First, she got on the stand. Hey, I'm a dancer. Then next thing you know, after she did her performance and she had to get what do they call it when now it's time to question you? His lawyers got the chance to question her.
Cross-examination.
Come on now, you better tell me what's going on. Cross-examination. Now she ain't all bubbly. She's talking about, was you drinking? No. Oh, but that looked like a bottle in your hand. Oh, maybe I had a drink. They said it looked like you bumped your head, and that's how you got your scar. No, I ain't bumped my head. Are we blind? This is what our eyes see on the video. They showed all kind of video footage. But y'all say, hands down, she's a victim. This girl, what's her name? Grace. Y'all say, hands down, that's it. Boom, bam. You believe the victim. Even though they got some video and all that footage of it, something don't look right. So she out on these streets, got the man up in court. I'm not saying he don't belong there. Y'all following me? This man said he broke up with the chick, and now she want to claim all of this, and he can't get his name back. Destroyed by the allegations. Now, Jonathan Majors, and I ain't saying he innocent. I don't know. But Jonathan Majors is destroyed by the allegations. No matter how this case go down, he got a long road back. And she in there with the shenanigans when the truth probably is, because she talked about, and a candle was thrown on the wall. Then she hit the mic. Boom. She hit the mic. It hurt me. And I'm not making fun, y'all. She's saying all this. You understand what I'm trying to say? Instead of coming out and saying the truth, which was, you know what? From the door, we had a volatile relationship. That night was no different. I saw some chick on his phone, and I told that brother, who that? And then we got the tossing over the phone. Yeah, I ran out because I usually am dramatic. And he usually does bring me back. So I ran out. He snatched me up like he usually do. And he put me back in the car. And he started running off, and I do like I normally did. I run after him. How do I know she normally does that? Because we got the footage. This ain't Diva making this up. We got the footage of her on the street talking to perfect strangers, giving a sob story like she was giving on the stand. And here he is. He walks by. He don't say nothing to her. She stops talking to the perfect strangers, and she runs after him. This is what they do. And that's why I'm standing on business tonight. And I'm saying, hear the story of everybody, victims and all. Hear the story, but investigate and let's have some justice happen. Because those two was messy. I'm cutting it in half, Leo. 60 seconds. What's your thoughts?
I don't know, because what was the first thing? I was invested in the first thing that you said.
Girl, I done went in a whole rant. I can't
I know. I don't remember. I was invested in the first thing, but the Jonathan Majors thing, I'm not that invested in, because really, I see them equal parts. So I really don't have a whole thing about them. I really don't, and I'm so distracted by Chanel and her get up on her head and her shades on her eyes. I can't really focus. So, I yield my time.
Okay.
Once again,
stand on business.
Standing on business. I really don't have a dog in this fight with the Jonathan Majors thing, because I really think they both are equally toxic. So I don't. And I'm open to listening to all arguments. How y'all going to argue this point with these two particular people? So thank you so much, Diva.
Thank you. We got 60 seconds. In my opinion, you're up.
Not to standing on business. I can't with y'all tonight.
No. Standing on business.
Listen here. I'm not Daddy Bonus and I can't speak like that, okay? I'm not even finna try. Listen here. I knew from the start when I saw the video that Miss Jabari was full of it, but I never thought we was gonna see the dramatics, okay? The fake tears and running out of court. And if I heard Miss Felicia right, she gotta get back on that stand tomorrow. I can't wait.
She gotta get back on that stand. That's why right now some of these people that are being accused, I want to say what's his name? From Two Live Crew. He said he ain't playing them games. We going straight to the court.
Uncle Luke.
Oh, Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke said he don't live up to his name.
Yeah. He said, yeah. He said, no, we're gonna go to the court and handle this up in the court. Felicia, you're up.
Okay. So I know there's some people who don't follow everything. I'm following this piece because this happened in my backyard.
Come on now.
And originally I said, well, you go out drinking, you do what you do. This is how you act. These things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I've come a long way from there, folks.
Oh.
We're talking about a man's freedom here.
Ooh.
We're talking about a year in jail because of a bad relationship. Yeah. They like to tussle. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It was probably foreplay for these two people.
Oh my.
This is how they did the do. Okay.
Woo.
They were at this club here in Brooklyn, hanging out, drinking too much, doing what they do. This is how they get down. Okay.
Right.
And Mr. Majors got a text. And it seems like it might have said, where you at? And he said, babe, it's time for us to go. And we know, because let's get it straight for the folks in the middle there. There's some things that when I speak on it, I know facts. And we know for a fact that Miss Jabari, Grace, loves to drink. She loved to party. She loved doing pills. She loved doing dope. She hang out with strangers. She do all of this. And she loves the club scene. And she was in the bar in the club. And he's like, we got to go. And they get in this cab and they begin to have a disagreement. And Miss Cleopatra, because that's the name that they told us in court.
Come on now.
Text Mr. Majors. And what'd she say, Diva? I wish I was kissing you right now.
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did. We're going to give the facts to the folks in the middle.
Oh,
okay. Shoot. And Miss Jabari said, who sent you that? And she goes for the phone. And as Diva mentioned earlier, there's a lot going on with their phones. It's saving lives and taking lives.
Child.
We're talking about a year in prison. Okay? They go over the bridge, they get to Lower Manhattan, and there's a tussling and a pushing and a shoving on both ends in this cab. And as Diva told you, yep, he got out and she went to run after him, and he got her and threw her like a football back into the cab. There is nothing righteous about this, folks, on either side. Don't get me wrong. But they have video footage of Miss Jabari running down the streets of Lower Manhattan trying to find her man.
Jonathan, where are you, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Have y'all seen him? Have you seen him?
Meanwhile, as she's waiting to see if she can spot him again, she begins to speak with strangers. And then he comes up the street. Look at the video. and she going after him. And one of the mayonnaise-looking men that was out there with her said, "Let me at him. I'm going to go get him." This is how crazy they were living.
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe that that's worthy of spending a year in jail? No, I don't.
Mm-mm.
And there's about 300 people in this chat. How many of you have been in a bad relationship? You're arguing, you're fussing in the street, you're around people, the family, you telling people, mind your business. No, I don't like this and that. Nobody wants you to go to jail. Maybe they just want you to break up. And that's what Mr. Majors did. He broke up with her. So this is why all those texts were going on in the middle of the night.
Take me back. Let's talk about
and she cried. We know she cried, right, Opinion? Because she cried 2 times in court today, and was running out all teary-eyed and screaming because.
And she cried one time yesterday.
Right. She couldn't bear to look at the videotape. So the folks will say, well, what's the videotape? The
Come on, I pulled it up. I pulled it up. Go ahead now. Talk to the people.
Right, that videotape that was really distressing her, that was making me sick, was when Mr. Majors returned to the place where they stayed at together. He found her in the bathroom.
Come on.
And he called the police. Now, you know the police wear those camcorders on their
uniform. Yeah, the body cam footage right here from the morning after the alleged. Yep, come on, talk to the people.
So there they are. They got it on this body cam with her laid out, half naked, in her vomit, and she don't know what's going on. And when she was asked why she's in the bathroom on the bathroom floor, initially she said something about, well, I kind of messed up the bed. I'm not going to go into the details about that. But then after the breakup was official, she said it was because she was hiding from him. No, ma'am. No one deserves a year in jail for a bad relationship. And this is what Diva is trying to take us to that place where we don't get into these spaces, these relationships that result, this is men and women, where someone being able to bring these kind of charges against you to take away your freedom.
Come on now. Ooh, you bringing it home.
Oh, and there's Mama. Mama in the court and Auntie too. Okay.
Come on now.
So this is about freedom.
Come on.
Mr. Banks' freedom, Mr. Simmons' freedom, and Mr. Majors' freedom. And these were all based on relationships. If I know best, they didn't take anyone's life. They didn't harm someone to the point where they were disabled. No, they were in bad relationships. One of the things Mr. Simmons said in that video was he slept with thousands of people. Did anybody else but me catch that?
I caught that. Talk, Felicia, talk.
Thousands of people. He took that penis of his and injected it into thousands of people. But I got to stand with Diva again. If Russell wanted to throw a party because he coming back to America, how many gonna show up?
Woo!
I'm done.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Come on now. E, you're up.
So, in my opinion, Jonathan was not destroyed by allegations. Jonathan has succumbed to his own flesh and weakness and desires and his preferences. 1 Corinthians, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. Let you not be tempted, beyond your ability. But with temptation, he will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. Period. Chasing after white women and securing them, then trying to break them down and condition their psyche to self-sacrifice for your black ass, and dressing it up and putting a badge of honor on it and calling it, oh, be my Michelle Obama, be my Coretta Scott King. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to the culture. So when the white woman ruins the black man's name and freedom is on the line, oh well. What did Young Jeezy say after filing for divorce from Jeannie Ma? When black men are down, we need our black sisters. That's when we need our Black sisters the most, when we are down. And so what does he do now? Now he got to call on his Black mama. Okay. Now he got to go get the Black girl, the Megan Good. Shame on you, Black girl. I don't give a damn about Jonathan's name if it's ruined, if it's 1 year in jail, 2. I don't care about that. Let him go down to Starbucks and start taking orders. He got what he paid for. Because guess what? A Black man's preference is expensive in this life. And I'm not putting on my Superwoman Saber nigga cape tonight. No way. I hope it was fun while it lasted, but this is not my problem. Best wishes.
Woo, woo, woo. Julius?
Lord, listen. These stories made me have PTSD. Listen, I'm going to have to get me a snack and some tea in Resena, because, child. People need to think about their choices. Just time for thinking. Real quickly about the whole Jonathan Major situation. I saw the video. We all saw the video.
Mhm.
And for the record, I ain't going to nothing Russell Simmons doing nothing. I don't even know the man, so I don't care. I don't even have a rush card. Let's just keep it real. Yeah, like, like the streets need to stop popping. I'm tired. I got PTSD from all the popping off. Now I'm gonna do my Auntie Maxine Waters, and I'm gonna reclaim my time.
Thank you, Julius. Denzel, you're up. 60 seconds.
All right, 60 seconds. Yeah, I don't believe her. And you know, that video, she was talking to those people and he was passing by and she was, you know, chasing him. She's doing too much and she needs to stay off of that alcohol. Cause yeah, she's over dramatic and yeah, she's doing too much. But very quick question, Diva, real quick. Is Jonathan Majors and Megan Good dating?
So they say.
Okay, if it's true, I hope he's treating her like a queen. That's it, and that's all, Diva.
Thank you, Denzel. You sound like maybe he treating her like Michelle Obama. I don't know.
Michelle Obama.
Chanel, you're up.
I don't know. I just connected these two stories because you played the video and I thought we was talking about him, but we're talking about Jonathan Majors in his case, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think I remember us talking about this. I don't remember exactly, but was she intoxicated whenever she was doing whatever she was doing? Okay.
So they say.
I don't want to give her a pass or nothing like that, but I do think I don't drink like that. I try. I'm not successful, but I do think alcohol can impair people's rational thoughts or thinking. So I just want to give her a little bit of grace for that. But I don't really know the whole story. So she's accusing him of doing something to her, right? That's what this whole case is about. Her doing him doing something. So I don't know. I mean, God bless her. If she is lying, I put her in the same box with the girl from earlier. You need to go to jail. You need to pay some restitution for all of the people doing the work on behalf of you instead of the real, saving the real people. I hear that actually something happened to clogging up the legal system with your shenanigans. But I don't know. That Russell Simmons guy, I can't believe. Anyway, just go to the next person because I'll be on a tangent. Is that my 60 seconds?
Yeah, it is.
I'm yielding my time. Okay.
Thank you. Dadon, you're up.
So I'm going to say the quiet part out loud.
Okay.
Ladies, keep your hands to yourself.
Oh, damn.
Okay?
Oh, okay. Let me
because every man is not a gentleman.
Let's be clear.
Okay? So when you go grabbing for a cell phone, when you go slapping and doing all this and trying to find text messages and grab phone out of a man's hand, every man is not a gentleman. A man gonna knock you upside your head. Some of them will. Keep your hands to yourself. A text message doesn't give you an excuse to slap a man. A text message doesn't give you an excuse to punch him, to scratch him, to do any of that. Keep your hands to yourself. We don't know how this man was raised. His mama could have told him, if a female hit you, punch her dead in her face. We don't know. But just because he get a text message, you go grabbing his phone. That doesn't give you an excuse. She has to take accountability for this too. Keep your hands to yourself. Both of them have, like in my opinion said, this is a two-way street here. They enjoyed this. This was foreplay for them, but it got too far because she was drunk.
Ooh.
So, every man is not a gentleman. You go touch the wrong man, you go teeth out your mouth. Keep your hands to yourself. It doesn't give you an excuse. And he's wrong too if he touched her. But that's what I tell my daughter. I don't care what a man, if you get a text message, it doesn't matter. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't go grabbing him because he may not be a gentleman.
Ooh. Now y'all love to come at my neck. I ain't saying, but you know what? Hashtag keep your hands to yourself. Wait.
And quit drinking and pill popping.
Okay, back to like the allegations and stuff like that. When you put those allegations out there on people, and it's not true, it still sticks with them. I was a guy in Baltimore, and he broke up with his girlfriend, and she had a child. Okay, then the child said that that her boyfriend had, MA'd him, molested, whatever. Him, she filed charges. He went to jail, blah, 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 on and got all other stuff. Come to find out, the little boy lied. He lied because his mother told him to say that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, granted, the man was exonerated and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But how many of y'all will let y'all children be around him just knowing that? Mm-hmm. Even though it's not true. Just that tarnish, that stain on it. And the other things I was going to say real quick, when you have a woman, if she alleges a guy like this case right here, mm-hmm. that he did something, and come to find out that she was lying, or like this other person went to jail, they need to drag her for filth. Just like they would have dragged the man for filth, they need to drag that woman for filth. If she calls somebody to go to jail because of lying, accusing, all that, they need to drag her for filth. Maybe she ain't gonna go to jail, but drag her ass for filth. Let her feel the shame that she put on somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you. Y'all got me on overtime. I cannot. Okay. But I appreciate the conversation. And listen, guys, over here, we have the conversations that need to be had. We got to have these conversations, okay? And everybody got their opinion, and we respectfully respect everybody's opinion. And we say over here, stand your ground. I'm not even going around after this. After this, we out. Hold on. I got to play this. Phil, boom, there it is, y'all. Don't give up on love. Let me just. Don't give up on love.
This was a great story. That was awesome.
That was cute.
Wasn't that cute? Yes, it was. Listen, guys, y'all gonna quit. Somebody, where's Robin? I need a time checker.
Where's she at?
Besides, that's it. 60 seconds. But listen, guys, I love y'all. It's a conversation destroyed by allegations. If you didn't hit the like button coming in, hit the like button going out. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here for Trending Topics. Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night,
Bye.
Don't forget to click like and share and subscribe.
Thank you, Wayne. And listen, keep your hands to yourself.
And no hands to yourself. And take your